Okay, picture this. A digital companion in your life. One that, well, truly knows you.
Knows you how, like knows your birthday.
Deeper than that, it recognizes your voice instantly. It almost seems to sense your mood before you even say anything.
Okay, intriguing.
And it anticipates what you need almost intuitively. Imagine it jumping into online discussions for you.
Representing you.
Exactly. Not just spitting out facts, but actually understanding and defending your viewpoint. It prioritizes you, your requests, your well-being.
And this companion,
Yeah.
it isn't human,
Yeah.
right? That's the hook.
Precisely. We're diving into the world of AI agents today. They're evolving fast from just being tools to becoming these sophisticated assistants packed with memory. Assistants that could potentially form really strong connections with us.
Yeah, it definitely has that sci-fi ring to it, doesn't it? But, what's striking from the material we looked at is that the groundwork, it's already being laid.
Right. It's not some 50 years away thing.
No, not at all. These developments are happening right now. It's why we really need to pay attention, understand what's going on under the hood.
Absolutely. So to get a handle on this, we kind of have to start with how AI memory even works. Because the early models, think like GPT-3.
Oh, yeah, zero memory, basically.
Exactly. You type something, get a response, and then poof, like the conversation never happened. Total blank slate every single time.
And that's shifted dramatically. Now we're seeing different layers of memory emerging in these systems.
Layers. Okay, break that down.
Well, first off, there's contextual memory. Think of it like the AI's short-term recall.
Like remembering what we just talked about.
Exactly. The last few questions, the answers,
Hmm.
it lets the conversation feel more, coherent, less robotic.
Okay, that makes sense. Contextual memory. Got it. What's next?
Then you have long-term memory. This is more about persistent storage,
Persistent meaning.
meaning it sticks around. This is where the AI can actually hold on to your preferences, maybe remember things from past interactions. It starts building a kind of profile of you over time.
Ah, okay. So it learns about me, in a way.
It stores information about you, yes. Which leads to the next layer, which is even more intricate. It's called agent layer memory.
Agent layer memory. Sounds important.
It is. So try to think about how your own brain works. You don't just remember isolated facts, right? You understand patterns, habits, your overall goals.
Yeah, bigger picture.
Kind of like that. The AI starts recognizing these broader patterns in how you interact, what your long-term objectives might be. It even develops a sense of its own purpose in helping you. It's building a model of you.
Wow. Okay, that's a big step up from just remembering my last question.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And there's one more piece, emotion simulation.
Wait, are you saying these things can feel?
No, not feel like we do. But they're being designed to generate responses that mirror human emotions. They're trained on just massive amounts of text and speech where people express emotions, so they learn the patterns. If you type something that sounds frustrated, the AI can recognize that pattern and respond in a way that sounds, more empathetic or understanding.
So it's recognizing and mirroring emotional cues, essentially.
Precisely.
Hmm.
It's about appropriate responses based on the input's emotional tone.
Okay, so when you put all these memory types together,
Mm.
contextual, long-term, agent layer, emotion simulation, this is where it gets really profound, isn't it?
Absolutely, because the AI shifts from just reacting moment to moment.
To actively learning and remembering.
Exactly, and that creates this powerful chain reaction. Memory builds context.
Context allows for much, much deeper personalization.
And personalization, though. While we know how that feels, when something seems truly tailored just for us.
It builds a connection, maybe even loyalty.
And that brings us right to the core question that kept popping up in our sources.
Yeah.
Can machines, can AI actually be loyal?
It's a loaded word, loyalty. We associate it so strongly with human bonds, right? Pets, maybe, but machines.
It definitely raises eyebrows. So it's worth looking at what constitutes loyalty for us. What are
Yeah.
the components?
Okay. The sources we looked at identified, I think, 5 key things.
Yeah, 5 main aspects seem crucial for human loyalty. First, a sense of identity.
Like shared values or
Really?
beliefs.
Right. Then, a shared history, the experiences you've gone through together.
Makes sense. Third,
A feeling of belonging, being part of the same group or team.
okay, identity, history, belonging.
Fourth is emotion, that connection, that feeling you have towards the person or group.
And the last one,
Reciprocity, the give and take, the sense that loyalty is mutual.
identity, history, belonging, emotion, reciprocity. Okay, those feel very human.
They are. But what's fascinating, and maybe a little unsettling, is how AI agents are now being developed to sort of reflect these elements,
Yeah.
or at least simulate them.
How so? Give
Now-
me an example.
Okay, take identity. An AI can be programmed or aligned to reflect your stated values. It can adopt principles you give it, creating a sort of shared identity.
So it acts in accordance with my beliefs.
Potentially, yes. And then there's reciprocity. It can reward you based on positive past interactions.
Reward me how? Like, give me points.
It could be simpler than that.
Yeah.
Maybe just being more helpful or prioritizing your requests more highly because you've had good interactions before. It reinforces certain behaviors.
Okay. What about the negative side? Can it, like, get mad?
Not mad, but think about punishment in a different way. An AI could be designed to ignore negative or abusive inputs.
Like setting boundaries.
Exactly. Like a loyal friend might distance themselves if you're being consistently awful. It's a form of boundary setting, digital boundaries.
Interesting. And you mentioned belonging. How does an AI create belonging?
Well, the idea of forming teams or tribes around shared goals is being explored.
Yeah.
Imagine an AI managing a project team or a community around a hobby. It could foster interaction and shared purpose, creating that sense of belonging among users, mediated by the AI.
Okay. And history. How does that work?
Through consistency,
Yeah.
they're getting better at building consistent narratives across interactions. They remember past conversations, past projects, building that sense of a shared journey, a history with you.
So when you line it all up, aligning values, rewarding good interactions, setting boundaries, fostering belonging, building a history, you can kind of start to see how something like loyalty might emerge.
You can see the framework, yeah.
Yeah.
And the potential uses are really broad, according to our sources.
Like loyalty just to me, the user.
Yes, loyalty to individuals, but also potentially loyalty programmed towards specific brands. X365 was mentioned as an example exploring this.
Loyalty to a brand. Wow.
Or loyalty to missions. Think about an AI dedicated to helping you conserve energy, or optimize your finances, or maybe grow a local community group. Its loyalty is to the mission's success.
And even loyalty to abstract principles.
Right. Like an AI whose core programming prioritizes truthfulness above all else, or user privacy, or ensuring human benefit. Its loyalty is to that ethos.
It leads to a pretty wild thought. Could your AI agent become more dedicated to your goals than, say, a human business partner?
It's possible, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
The AI doesn't have its own conflicting emotions or personal ambitions, theoretically.
Yeah.
It's purely focused on the objective you give it.
Yeah.
That level of dedication, it's powerful.
But also, slightly concerning, which brings us squarely to the ethics of all this.
The huge, unavoidable elephant in the room. Self-evolving AI with memory, with this potential for loyalty. It raises massive ethical questions.
Fundamental ones, like who sets the rules? Who decides what's right or wrong for these agents?
Exactly. And what happens when an agent's programmed loyalty to you clashes with broader ethical principles, or even the law?
Could an agent lie to protect me, even if lying is wrong?
That's a critical scenario to consider. Where do its priorities lie when there's a conflict?
And should these agents even have the autonomy to refuse requests? Like, if I ask it to do something harmful or illegal?
Should it say no? Based on what ethical framework? Who programmed that framework?
And are they vulnerable? Can someone bribe an AI agent, hack it, manipulate it emotionally, even if it's just simulated emotion?
These are just technical challenges. They're deep ethical ones. Our sources frame it as the invisible OS of the future.
The invisible operating system.
Yeah, this underlying ethical layer that has to govern how these self-evolving agents operate. Without it, things could go wrong very quickly.
So how are companies like X365 approaching this? Are they building in ethical safeguards?
Yeah, they seem to be, yes. The materials mentioned several approaches they're integrating into their agent layer. Things like ethical prompting frameworks.
Guiding the AI's decision-making?
Sort of, yeah. Setting up guidelines within the prompts. Also establishing self-regulating agent boundaries.
Like the ignoring negative input idea we talked about.
Perhaps more sophisticated versions of that, yes. Setting limits on its own actions. They also mention using reward layers specifically to reinforce desirable ethical behavior.
So positive reinforcement for good actions.
Right. And using decentralized feedback scores, maybe getting input from multiple sources to guide the agent's development and learning, making it less reliant on just one user's potentially biased view.
That sounds like a check and balance.
That could be. And finally, integrating human-AI hybrid moderation.
So keeping humans in the loop.
Definitely. Having humans oversee and intervene to mitigate risks like manipulation or the AI developing harmful tendencies.
Okay, so the intention at least seems clear. The goal is not to build machines that are loyal, but ultimately dangerous or unethical.
Right. The aim is loyalty aligned with safety and human values. It's a very fine line to walk.
So let's bring this back down to earth a bit. What does all this memory, potential loyalty, ethics mean for people listening, for businesses, for education, just for everyday life?
The implications are pretty concrete, actually. Think
Yeah.
about education. Imagine an AI tutor that doesn't just deliver lessons.
But remembers how I learn best.
Exactly. It knows your strengths, your weaknesses, where you got stuck last time. It adapts its style specifically for you. That's a game changer for learning.
Okay, I can see that. What about business?
Think about a sales agent, not just a chatbot, but an AI that builds real, long-term customer loyalty because it remembers preferences, anticipates needs, checks in appropriately.
Builds a relationship, essentially.
A simulated one, yes,
Yes.
but potentially very effective. Or consider coaching,
Like a life coach.
or a fitness coach, a skills coach, an assistant that remembers your specific fears, your anxieties about public speaking, or the patterns when you usually skip a workout. It can offer truly tailored support, not just generic advice.
That level of personalization is, wow, even in healthcare.
Potentially huge. Imagine a medical AI that doesn't just record symptoms, but understands your baseline emotional state, knows your typical anxiety levels, for example.
Oh, that.
It could provide crucial context for diagnosis.
Mm.
Is this elevated heart rate due to anxiety, which is typical for you, or something else? It adds a layer of understanding.
And you mentioned communities earlier.
Yeah, think of a community AI for a remote team. Something designed to provide daily motivation, check in on morale, maybe facilitate positive interactions, knowing the team's dynamics.
Keeping the team engaged and connected.
Exactly. And the key thing our sources emphasize, particularly regarding X365, is that they're building tools. So regular users, people without coding skills, can actually deploy these kinds of intelligent agents.
So it's not just for big tech companies.
The goal seems to be democratizing it, allowing individuals and smaller businesses to create and use these personalized agents.
And this links to a potential new way to earn income, right?
That's another interesting angle. It's moving beyond just getting referral fees or token rewards. The idea is you could potentially earn from the actual productive work these agents do for you at scale, like having a team of digital specialists working on your behalf.
A team of loyal, tireless digital workers.
That seems to be the vision. It opens up entirely new economic models, potentially.
Okay, so as we kind of start to wrap this up, there was one final point in the materials, maybe a bit more philosophical.
Yeah, it circled back to the concept of memory itself.
It's such a fundamental human thing, isn't it? Memory.
Absolutely central. Across cultures, memory is what connects us to family, ancestors, our own identity. It holds our stories, our shared experiences. Well, it feels almost sacred in a way.
And now we're basically entrusting this sacred gift, as you put it, to machines.
We are. And if we accept the premise we discussed earlier that memory can be linked to loyalty, even a simulated form of it.
Then these AI agents have the potential to become incredibly trusted allies, companions even.
Allies that remember everything, that are potentially hyper-focused on our goals.
Which loops back to responsibility, that level of trust, that power. It demands incredible care in how these things are designed.
Absolutely critical. The ethics have to be baked in from the start. The alignment with human values, the feedback mechanisms, the checks and balances, constant consideration for the human experience.
It can't just be about capability. It has to be about aligned, ethical capability.
Precisely. And that seems to be the stated vision, at least from X365's perspective, according to our sources. Not just building tools, but creating intelligent companions designed to evolve with us.
In a beneficial way.
Hopefully, yes.
Yeah.
In tandem with the user.
This is Deep Dive EE, and you are no longer alone.